Hello everyone, welcome to Current Affair Part 3. First of all, we'll read about news that is Hindi should be generally accepted as the language of the world with consensus as said by our Home Minister Amit Shah. Okay, so recently the Union Home Minister was unanimously re-elected the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Official Languages. About the Parliamentary Committee on Official Language, the Parliamentary Committee on Official Language was constituted under the provision of the Section 4 of Official Language Act 1963 in the year of 1976. Section 4 of this act says that there shall be constituted a Committee on Official Language on a resolution to the effect being moved in either House of Parliament with the previous sanction of the President and passed by both the Houses. The committee is chaired by the Union Home Minister and has in accordance with the provisions of 1963 Act. Under this provision of the 1963 Act, the panel submits its report to the President, who shall then cows the report to laid before each House of Parliament and sent to all the state governments. Purpose of the committee is to review the progress made in the use of Hindi for official purpose and to make recommendation to increase the use of Hindi in official communications. Members, it comprises of 30 members of the Parliament, of which 20 are from Lok Sabha and 10 are from Rajya Sabha. Now, the next is President of India confers the National Florence Nightingale Awards. Means recently the President of India present the National Florence Nightingale Awards for the year 2024. About this Florence Nightingale Award, it was instituted by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, in year of 1973. The award is given to outstanding nursing personnel employed in central, state and UTs and volunteer the organization. It was awarded as a mark of recognition for the meritorious service rendered by the nurse and nursing professional to the society. The nurse in his or her regular job in the hospital or community setting, educational or administrative setting is eligible for this national award. Each award consists of a certificate of merit, a cash award of 1 lakh rupees, and a medal. Who is Florence Nightingale? The Florence Nightingale was an English social reformer, statistician, and the founder of modern nursing. Nightingale came to prominence while serving the manager and trainer of the nurse during the Crimean War, in which she organized care for wounded soldiers at the Constantinople. Her efforts to formalize the nursing education led her to the establishment of the first scientifically based nursing school, the Nightingale School of Nursing, at the St. Thomas Hospital in London. This is a particular PIB report that I have shared with you. You can go through this also and my lecture also. This is basically the category given in the different state with the name of the awardee. Now next is that establishment of Gram Nyayalaya. Okay, this is one of the one of the news that I have taken from Press Trust of India. The Supreme Court recently said that establishment of the Gram Nyayalayas across the country would help improve access to the justice. The Gram Nyayalayas, or the village courts, are established under the Gram Nyayalaya Act 2008 for the speedy and easy access to the justice system in the rural areas of India. The Act extends to the whole of the India except the state of Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim and tribal areas specified in the 6th schedule of the Constitution of India. Gram Nyayalayas is aimed to provide the inexpensive justice to the people in the rural area at their doorsteps, and one of the major thing is that According to constitution, the state governments have been vested with the authority of setting up one or more nyayalayas after proper consultance with the respective high court in every panchayat at the intermediate level, or the group of adjacent panchayat at intermediate level of district. However, the Act does not make setting up of Gram Nyayalayas mandatory. Section 4 of this Act provides the headquarters of the Gram Nyayalayas to be situated in the respective panchayat or some other place notified by the state government. Presiding officer. The Gram Nyayalayas are presided over by a Nyayadhikari appointed by the state government in consultation with the respective high court, who have the same power, enjoy the same salary and benefits as a judicial magistrate of a first class. Act as a mobile court also. The Nyayadhikari shall periodically visit the villages and may hear the parties and dispose the case at a place other than its headquarters. It also provides the feature of territorial jurisdiction, which means that the state governments are also sanctioned to control and alter the territorial jurisdiction, okay, of the Gram Nyayalayas from time to time, depending upon the requirement of the circumstances. The Gram Nyayalayas will try criminal cases, civil suits, claims or dispute which are specified in the first schedule and the second schedule of the Act. They are also to follow the summary procedure in criminal trial. Disputes are to be settled as far as possible by bringing about the conciliation between the parties, and for this purpose the Gram Nyayalayas will make use of conciliators to be appointed for this purpose. The Gram Nyayalaya shall not be bound by the rules of evidence provided by the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam 2023, but shall be guided by the principle of natural justice, subject to any rule made in the High Court. Appeals that criminal matters and appeal against the decision of Nyayalaya in the criminal matter can be filed in the session court of that jurisdiction. Civil matters and appeal against any verdict of Gram Nyayalaya concerning a civil matter can be filed in the district court of the concerned jurisdictions. So all the details, what is in the newspaper is written over here. You can go through that. Now the next one is Sarthi app. It's about Sarthi app. Sarthi app is basically an app. Recently, Open Network for Digital Commerce (ONDC) launched Sarthi app in collaboration with Bhashini. About Sarthi app, if we see, it is a reference application designed to assist the business in creating their own customized buyer side apps. It supports network participants in the building buyer apps with multilingual feature. The app initially supports Hindi, English, Marathi, Bangla, Tamil, with the plan to scale up to all 22 languages provided by Bhashini. The feature of this app includes the real-time translation, transliteration and voice recognition, allow businesses to expand market reach, enabling companies to tap into new regions and increase customer acquisition. What is Bhashini? Bhashini is basically, it is India's artificial intelligence-led language translation platform which seeks to enable the easy access to the internet and digital services like Indian language, including voice-based access, and help the creation of content in the Indian language. It aims to make artificial intelligence and natural language processing resource available in the public domain to be used by Indian MSMEs, startups and individual innovators. This will help developers to offer all Indians easy access to the internet and digital services in their native languages. This online platform also has a separate Bhashadan section which allows individuals to contribute to multiple crowdsourcing initiatives and is also accessible via respective Android and iOS apps. Now next one is a report from PIB, okay, about, it's a issue of international relation, okay. Indian Army contingent departs for India's Oman joint military exercise Al Nahazvi. Okay, recently the Indian Army contingent departed to participate in 5th edition of exercise Al-Naj. Al-Naj is basically a joint military exercise between India and Oman. The exercise is scheduled to be conducted from 13th to 26th September 2024 at Rabkoot training area in Salalah, Oman. This exercise has been held biennially, okay, means two times in a year since 2015, alternating between India and Oman. Last edition of same exercise was conducted at Mahajan in Rajasthan. The Indian Army contingent, comprised 60 personnel, is being represented by the Battalion of Mechanized Infantry Regiment. Aim of joint exercise is to enhance joint military capability of both the sides to undertake the counter-terrorism operation under Chapter 7 of United Nations Charter. The exercise will focus on operation in the desert environments, and tactical drills to be rehearsed during the exercise include joint planning, cordon and search operation, fighting in build-up area, establishment of mobile vehicle checkposts, counter drone, room intervention, okay, among other. Combined field training exercise that simulates the real-world counter-terrorism mission have also been planned over there. So this is a particular initiative. Now the next one is Port Blair. About it has been renamed as Shri Vijayapuram. Okay. Recently, the Union Home Minister of India said that Port Blair will be renamed as Shri Vijayapuram. It is the capital of and the entry point of Andaman and Nicobar Island. It was named after the Archibald Blair, a naval surveyor and lieutenant in the Bombay Marine. Blair was the first officer to carry out thorough survey of the Andaman Island. It is located on the east coast of South Andaman Island. It is also the place that hosted the first unfurling of our Tiranga by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Port Blair connection with the Imperial Cholas and Sri Vijaya has a separate significance. Like some of the historical records suggest that Andaman Island were used strategic naval base by 11th century during the time of Chola Empire. Rajendra I to attack Sri Vijaya, which is in present-day Indonesia. As per an inscription found at Tanjore dated in 1050 Common Era CE, the Cholas referred to the island of Manakavaram land, Great Open or the Naked Land, you can say, which is possibly led to the modern name of Nicobar under the British. As noted by the historians, Herman Kalke in his edited book Nagapattinam to Suvarnadvipa reflects on the Chola naval expeditions to Southeast Asia. The Chola invasion of Sri Vijaya was a unique event in the history of India and its otherwise peaceful relation with the state of Southeast Asia, which had come under the India's strong cultural influence about a millennium. Others, like American historians like G.W. Spencer, interpret that Sri Vijaya expedition as to be the part of Chola expansionism policy or expansionist policy, which had been ongoing decades, accumulating in wars and other empires of South India and Sri Lanka. Now the next one is National Institute. Okay, Instructional Media Institute. So recently this is a report from PIB. Recently this NIMI launched YouTube channels for Industrial Training Institute ITI students. About this institute, that is NIMI, it was formerly known as Central Instructional Media Institute, CIMI, that is CIMI, and was established in December 1986 by the Government of India as a subordinate officer under the Directorate General of Employment and Training, Ministry of Labour and Employment. Presently, NIMI is the functioning as the autonomous institute under the Directorate General of Training, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, the Government of India. It is the nodal organization for the development of the instructional media packages, including digital content and question banks for the assessment for different vocational courses. The recent initiative which has been done by this institute, that it has launched a YouTube channel for Industrial Training Institute. It will provide high quality training videos to the million of learners across the India's Industrial Training Institute skill ecosystem, available in 9 languages. Those new channels offered in English, Hindi, Tamil, Bengali, Marathi, Punjabi, Malayalam, Telugu and Kannada, are aimed at helping the learners improve their technical skill through free, easy to access digital resources. Each channel has tutorials, skill demonstration and theoretical lessons, all curated by industrial experts to ensure the relevance in today's vocational training landscape. The initiative aligns with the India's National Skill Development Mission and the goals of the new education policy, that is NEP. They may encourage ITI students, instructor and skilling enthusiasts to subscribe to the preferred regional channels to stay updated with the latest content. Now the next one is about an Israeli strike on a UNRWA, UNRWA, school turned shelter has killed at least 18 people and injured over a dozen of others at Gaza. About United Nations Relief and Work Agency, that is UNRWA, for the Palestinian refugees in the Near East. It is a subsidiary agency created by United Nations General Assembly in 1949. Objective was to provide the relief, health and education service for the Palestinians who lost their homes and their means of livelihood during the Arab-Israeli wars following the establishment of State of Israel in 1948. Headquarters beginning operations in 1950, UNRWA was originally headquartered in Beirut but was moved to the Vienna in 1978. Following the conclusion of Oslo Accords in early 1990s, the General Assembly moved agencies to the Gaza Strip in 1996 to demonstrate the General Assembly's commitment to the Arab-Israeli peace process. In the absence of a solution of Palestine refugee problem, the General Assembly has repeatedly renewed UNRWA mandate, most recently extending it until 30 June 2026. The services it provides, that it encompasses the education, healthcare, relief and social service, camp infrastructure and improvement, microfinance and emergency assistance, including in times of armed conflict. Field of operation: it provides the service in its 5 field of operation like Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, including the east of Jerusalem. It supports more than 5 million registered Palestinian refugees and the patrilineal descendants who fled or were expelled from their homes during 1948 Palestine War, as well as those who fled and were expelled during the 1967 Six-Day War. Funding: its fund from entirely by voluntary contribution from UN members. The UNRWA also receives some funding of regular budget of UN, which is used mostly for international staffing cost. As Chief Officer, the Commissioner General, the only leader of UN agency to report directly to the UN Assembly, is appointed by the UN Secretary General with the approval of an advisory commission. Now the last one is also a report from PIB Delhi. The third edition of Index X Summit concluded in the United States, marking a progress in the advancement of a joint defense innovation ecosystem in India and the USA. It was launched in 2023 during the state visit of Prime Minister of India to the USA. Objective is to expand the strategic technology partnership and defense industrial cooperation between the government's business and academic institution in India and the US. Index X will be the Defense Innovative Bridge, which will inter alia include joint challenges, joint innovation fund, academia engagement, industry startup connect, investment by private entities in defense project, mentoring by expert and niche technology projects. It will focus on advancing the high tech cooperation and fostering joint research, development, and production opportunity in the defense sector. The initiative aims to explore possibility for co-producing jet engines, long-range artillery, and infantry vehicles. The Indus X initiative is being steered by Innovation for the Defense Excellence on the behalf of Ministry Defense and Defense Innovation Unit under the US Department of Defense DoD. The Innovation for Defense Excellence means that it is a flagship scheme under the Ministry of Defense of the Government of India, which was launched in 2018. The objective of this scheme is to cultivate an innovation ecosystem in the defense and the aerospace sector by collaborating with the startups, innovators, MSMEs, incubators, and academia. IDEX, that is IDEX, offers grants and support for R&D, that is research and development, with the significant potential for the future adoption in India's defense and aerospace. It acquires its fund from Defense Innovation Organization DIO, which has formed as not-for-profit company as per the Companies Act 2013 for this purpose by two founders, that is Defense Public Sector Undertaking, that is DPSUs, Hull and Bell, HAL Hull and BEL Bell. Okay, so that's all. Thank you everyone.